afternoon, folks. This is Robert Chappell, Executive Editor, Madison365, with your daily update for Monday, June 14th. It is already halfway through June. How did this happen? I'm not sure how this happened. It is Monday, which means it is Metcalf's Monday. Metcalf's, as you know by now, is a fourth generation family owned and operated market with stores in Madison at Hilldale Mall and behind Westtown Mall, and in Wauwatosa at 68th and State. Father's Day is coming up this weekend. And Metcalf's has everything you need to come together around the table and celebrate. Stop by for all your grillable meats and all those sorts of things, or you can order for pickup or delivery anytime at shopmetcalfs.com. And thank you to Metcalfs for supporting the update and supporting local independent nonprofit journalism news here at Madison 365. So let's talk a little bit about the COVID numbers, because the news is pretty good, as it has been for the past couple of weeks. We've got we're not, the state is no longer updating data on the weekends, so which doesn't affect this program as much as it does the podcast. But so when I give you these numbers, this is the first time seeing anything since Friday. Okay, but today, over the weekend, so since Friday, we've only added 185 new cases in Saturday and Sunday and today. So that's pretty good. That's out of about 4,200 tests that were reported. So those 3 days, a higher number of tests than we've seen in the past, than we've seen lately, but a lower number of new cases. It's only 4% of the new results are positive. Now, when you talk about all the results, in the past 7 days, we're at 1.1% still, which is exactly where we were on Friday. 1.1%. That is a really good and encouraging number. That doesn't mean it's over. However, that's very encouraging in that it indicates that, first of all, we're still doing a lot of testing, and secondly, we have it more or less under control, and there's just not a lot of virus circulating in the population right now. Obviously, there's still some. We're still, over 100 new cases per day. So it is still out there. And if we just all, drop everything now and just stop getting vaccinated, just stop wearing masks, these numbers would go up again. There's just no way for it to just automatically, naturally go away. That's not what viruses do, really. But what this means is we've got a really good handle on it right now. And even with very limited restrictions, we still got it under control. There really, for all practical purposes, there are no government restrictions. There are still a handful of private businesses that require masks, and like a lot of school type functions require masks still, because children can't be vaccinated yet. Children under the age of 12, I should say, can't be vaccinated yet. So, for example, my kids are going to this camp convention at the school here in Mahwah this week. They had to wear masks indoors because most of the people in those rooms are not vaccinated. Now, a lot of us, though, are vaccinated. So we are now at 49.1% of us have gotten at least one dose, and 44.2% have gotten both doses or have completed the vaccine. So either 2 doses of the Pfizer, Moderna, or a single dose of the Johnson & Johnson. Apologize. So that's good news. In Dane County here, we're at 67.7% have gotten one shot. 61.2% have gotten both shots. Milwaukee County, on the other hand, significantly behind. 47.1% have gotten one shot, and only 41.2% are fully vaccinated. So Dane County well ahead of the rest of the state, Milwaukee County well behind. And the state as a whole is a little bit behind the rest of the country. We were out of the gate really fast. We were leading the entire nation in terms of vaccinations. And then we just kind of hit a wall in late April. So people just, basically everybody who was going to get vaccinated got vaccinated right away. And now we're in this place where we're still slowly but surely people are getting the vaccine. We're now down to about 12,000 doses per day that are being given statewide. That was as high as 64,000 at one point in April. It got down as low as about 10,000. Then it was kind of back up to 15,000 late last week, and now it's back down to 12,000 a day. So we want to keep pushing that, keep getting those vaccines, because that's what's going to help keep us where we are. Because at some point, those of us who are vaccinated are going to need a booster at some point, probably. That's what the science is seeming to indicate. That I've got my 2 shots 6 weeks ago already, but I'm probably going to need a booster in a year or 2, which means that there's always a possibility of another big outbreak in a couple years from now, which we don't want to see. So we'd rather just get everybody vaccinated, eradicate this thing, get it out of here, get it done. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But that's okay. We might end up just living with it like we do with flu. And there's always flu and COVID season every fall. So we'll see. But for right now, everything is looking really good. I will also say we reported 2 fatalities today, which is considerably lower than we've seen. We've been seeing double-digit fatalities every day because the data is catching up, because more death certificates are being certified, more COVID deaths, more probable COVID deaths are being moved over into confirmed COVID deaths, right? This is a data processing issue, which is hard to talk about human lives as a data processing thing. You don't want to think of it that way, but when we're reporting 11, 17, 21 fatalities a day last week, those were all fatalities that happened weeks and months ago that are just now being added to the total, right? We're not seeing 21 deaths a day right now. We're seeing 2 or 3 a day right now. So 2 or 3 too many, probably, but that's where we're at right now. So to report just 2 over the weekend is, that's a nice low number, I guess. There's still 2 people that lost their lives, but overall as a population, it's better. We are now at 7,208 total fatalities for the state of Wisconsin. Okay, so we're going to take a short break. We're going to hear from a sponsor, and then we'll be back with some Juneteenth news, some soccer news, and some other fun stuff. And we will talk to you right after this. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Here in the Midwest, community is important.
Having a healthcare system that's looking out for us,
that's actively addressing the racial disparities in healthcare is important.
When we can get good quality care, we can do more. We can achieve more.
We can be the kind of community we want to be, and that's really important.
UW Health. Remarkable medicine. Remarkable care.
All right. As you probably know, this Saturday is Juneteenth, and Madison, Wisconsin has one of the best Juneteenth celebrations in the United States. That is not just me saying that. That's USA Today. Okay. Our reporter, Mackenzie Crum, spoke with Annie Weatherby Flowers, who's the organizer of this event, has been for 32 years. It was just a one-day thing when it started 32 years ago, and now it is kind of a hybrid event, partially online, partially in person, but it's over the course of the whole week. It's going to start on Wednesday with a virtual event for youth. It's going to have a Our Voices Matter panel discussion on Thursday night. It's going to have a spoken word open mic night on Friday. And then it's going to have a prayer service, and then there's going to be the big celebration on Saturday. It's going to be in person at Penn Park. It's parade at 11, and the celebration in the park from noon to 4. So that's all in Madison. If you go to Madison365.org, look for that picture. You'll see that story. We are also aware we're going to put some more stuff up about some other Juneteenth celebrations. There's one down in Platteville. Right, there's one in Beloit. They're kind of all over the state right now, which is terrific. And I also mentioned 2 other things related to Juneteenth. First of all, Urban Triage, which is a local nonprofit here in Madison, is hosting a Juneteenth fundraiser because only less than 2 weeks after Juneteenth, on June 30th, an important eviction moratorium expires, which means a lot of people could be put out. So they're trying to raise $25,000 to create a pot of money for people in the Madison area who are have housing insecurity issues to be able to apply and ask for a little bit of help to make rent. So if you want to help that cause, celebrate Juneteenth with some generosity for some people who may not, who may have some trouble keeping their housing. Because let's face it, right? This pandemic is, the spread of the disease is really low and maybe even almost over. But the long-lasting effects of the pandemic are not. The financial impact on families is still being really, really felt. So if you have a little extra, you can help out. Go to Madison365.org, click on that Urban Triage link, and there's a link at the bottom of that news story. It's got kind of how it's going to work, and a link for you to donate if you're so inclined. The other Juneteenth thing I'll mention is something I just learned about, so I don't even have a graphic for it. But the Forward Madison, the football team, the soccer team here in Madison, is going to celebrate Juneteenth this weekend. There's a home game on June 19th. It's kind of a Father's Day game, but it's also a Juneteenth game. They're going to actually recognize Juneteenth. They're going to have a special collectible scarf that they're designing in concert with Featherston Flamingos, the Black Supporters Group, and all proceeds from that scarf will go to YWCA of Madison. And they're going to have Pranisha Clifton, who is a regular viewer of this program and commenter on this program, will sing the national anthem and the Black national anthem before the game. We're going to have a Star Spangled Banner and Lift Every Voice and Sing the Black national anthem, which I think is fantastic. And there's also the Black Star Drumline is going to perform, and there's a few other things as well. We're going to post that on the website a little bit later this evening. Like I said, I just got that press release just as I was about to start go live here. So that's all I have right now on that. But I think that's great that the Forward Madison Football Club is leading into Juneteenth. I mentioned about the fact that the effects of the pandemic are ongoing, right? And that includes financial impacts. It also includes emotional and mental impacts. So Project Recovery is this program of the Community Action Coalition, and it is funded by FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And normally it provides emotional support and counseling services for people who've survived natural disasters. So after a flood, after a tornado, after an earthquake, whatever, we don't get earthquakes here, but you know what I mean. After a fire, there's emotional repercussions. And in addition to getting your house rebuilt or your whatever fixed or whatever, you have emotions and you have a mental health that he's tending to. So that's what Project Recovery does. But they've also retooled a little bit to focus on the COVID pandemic as a natural disaster, and specifically to provide support, emotional support, mental health support for anybody who needs it at this time. It's 1.1% positive test rate. The pandemic's going away, but the effects on our mental health, all of us, are still here. I mean, I still feel it. I mean, I haven't. I'm pretty privileged, and I was able to make it through okay. I didn't have a lot of stress. I was able to work from home. My kids did remarkably well at home. I know that, and I know that's very privileged. But even I have struggled a bit. I feel right now like the way I talk about it, I used to run cross country. You'd never know it from looking at me now, but I used to run cross country in high school, a long time ago. And when you're finishing a 5K and you're pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're pouring all your energy into running, and you feel like you could run forever because you get this sort of endorphin thing going on and as you're in your final stretch of a race. But the moment you cross the finish line, your entire body shuts down and you collapse. And I kind of feel that's where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? Like we've been pushing this whole year. We hit the finish line. We haven't even really hit the finish line yet. But it kind of feels that way, and it kind of feels like things are starting to go back to normal. And I feel like I've been keeping up this facade. I've been keeping up this brave face. I've been keeping up this push to get the news out to you, to get to conquer this pandemic. And now I'm like, done, collapse, burned out, tired all the time. And I say that from the position of being really privileged and not having a lot of the stressors that a lot of other folks have dealt with. So the whole point of this is there is no shame in needing mental health assistance right now for anybody. And I would definitely urge you to take advantage of this program, if you can, it's free. Okay, that's a barrier for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to go to therapy or counseling or whatever because it's going to cost a lot of money, or their insurance doesn't cover it, or they don't have insurance. This is free, and it's very easy to get. All you got to do is dial 211 and ask for Project Recovery. I'll show you the name of that again. Project Recovery. Dial 211, ask for Project Recovery, and you'll be connected with a counselor. Okay. Now the other thing you could do, that's the 211 is the United Way switchboard. But you can also, I'll give you the direct number for Project Recovery. It is 608-237-1255. 608-237-1255. And do, if you're feeling like this is, this whole thing has affected your mental health, and I don't know how it could not affect your mental health. And if it has affected your mental health in such a way that you need a little bit of assistance, that you just need to talk to somebody other than your mom or your wife or your spouse or your kids or whatever, a professional. Like don't hesitate. Just call 211 or call 608-237-1255. And they're not this is not an advertisement. They didn't. Project Recovery did not pay us for this. They just let us know that this was happening. And I said, this sounds like a good story. So Mackenzie Crum, our reporter, did a story on it. If you go to Madison365.org, you can read about it. Read about how they're funded, who they are, what they are trying to accomplish. And I hope that would help you decide to go ahead and use the service if you need to. All right. That is the news for today. I hope you have a wonderful evening. It is a beautiful day out, and I will be back tomorrow. We'll have the It's Only 10 Minutes podcast first thing tomorrow morning. And then I will be back tomorrow right at this time at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Until then, take care. Have a wonderful evening.
This is 365 Media.